I enjoyed last night's. Good evening, Carol.
I'm ready.
Are you ready? We're on. Carol's
good.
already said, hey, John, Lindsay and Chelsea. Good evening, my lovely lady.
Good evening.
You what?
Oh, I said we're lagging.
I don't think so. Hey, Scotty.
I think I'm lagging.
You're not lagging. Your mouth's
Evening
moving.
starts.
You're
breaking up at my end.
Hey, cool. We're Rachel and Steve. Good morning, other side of the world dwellers. What are you doing? He's going to put it on his phone and see whether we're lagging.
Hiya, Steve.
I'm turning everything off, so not connected.
Good evening, Rach. Evening, Antoinette. Evening, Cece. Hiya, Anne. Hiya, Patricia. Hey, Yo-Yo. Hey, Julie.
Can you see everybody
Steve.
now?
No, I have to click on chat. When I click on chat, I can't go you.
We've got Paul, Sissy, Yolanda, Patricia, Julie, Steve, Craig, Koo, Sophie, Nanny, Lindsay. Here she comes. Evening, Patricia, my lovely lady. Joe, Mike, Merry Christmas to you. Rachel, how are you? Hi, everyone.
Merry Christmas, Joe.
Can't be asked to type properly. Yolanda.
Oh, yeah.
So welcome to Tuesday Night Chit Chat. Evening, Sheila. Hope you're well. Joyce, good evening. Go on, Chelsea, change your chat
evening,
on.
Sheila. What?
Turn your chat so you can see everybody saying hello. Chelsea, tell them how to do
Good
it.
evening, guys. Hello. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Joyce.
Evening, Sharon. Merry Christmas.
You're doing better than I did on the live. Oh.
Yeah, but
evening, Sharon.
Chelsea's
Merry
used
Christmas.
to being not live. Chelsea's used to being live now. Cleaned oven yesterday, sat down and couldn't get up. Oh, at least you had a good day, though. Joe Mack. Oh, dear. So, let's talk about last night's investigation then, Chelsea, to start with. No worries, cool, my lovely. So, your best bits last night, Chelsea, what do you think?
I think maybe, I can't remember where we were, but can you remember when Warwick Bear that were going off constantly?
It did that in a couple of places.
We asked it to step away, and it didn't at first, but eventually it did.
I think that's where we did Vortex.
Yeah, I can't remember. I thought it was near them trees.
No, it only went off once. I don't know if anybody else can. If you did watch last night, pop in chat's your favourite bits from last night.
I can't remember if they got their up balls now, but one of them was going off constantly.
Oh my goodness!
But then eventually we'd asked it to step away, and then eventually it did stop until we asked another question.
I think that was when we were under shelter.
Yeah, it were.
That was when we were under shelter. When we were under trees and we got the bear perched in tree, it went off once, I think. And then when we went to other tree, it did a couple of flashings, I think. Mm-hmm. And then we got more when we went to other side.
Yeah. I think it was a good night. We got quite a few bits, didn't we? Good evening, Wardog. Evening, Sophie.
Do you know, I've got to admit, I think last night was one of the most, not active places, but one where we had a mixture of energies coming through, I think, that were on both sides really strong. Yeah. So, because we were getting Evening Lakeshore Paranormal.
When Gnome came through, that was clear, wasn't it? And we had Gnome more than once.
Well, Gnome kept coming through. Sprite kept coming through.
Yeah.
but then we were also getting names of relevant people that were there as well.
Yeah.
Evening, Diane.
Yeah. Evening, Diane.
And that figure that looked like
Anne wrapped up and Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Oh, bless. Thank you, Anne, my lovely. And I'm glad you're all wrapped up. Now you can sit and chill. Rachel, was an amazing night. Yeah, what were everybody's favourite parts in that one? Sophie's got to add your name, told you I'm Dozy. Hello, I'm great. Frosty. Yolanda. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I found it interesting but I think, you know, this time why it might have been more because last time we went, we weren't as relaxed.
Well, they're only even doing investigating for first half.
Well, they were only mean, and we could only go so far because somebody decided to get a car stuck in mud. So,
Mum.
So, because we had to dig the car out.
Yeah, but it was the funniest night ever, wasn't it?
It were. I've got to admit, that night I've never laughed as much. It was even funny driving round to petrol stations. So yeah, looking for a car cleaner. So Chelsea, I don't know if everybody knows now, but Chelsea's actually closing her page down, and she's actually becoming part of the ETA team. Along with
I've already closed it down. Well, it's I've took it down so people can't see it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's archived, or have you archived?
Yeah, archived.
Even I can say archived.
I can't see it. Archived.
Oh, dear. Evening, Gillian. I found it interesting learning about elementals. Well, I'm hoping, Rachel, that next Tuesday, Andy will please us with his presence and
grace
us
with his presence.
See, you're just
Good evening, Gillian. Hope well.
Hey, Mick. Because we've had Andy on before, and it's Andy and Becky from Elemental Encounters. And to be honest, Andy started off as, where is that? Oh, he's here, look. Yo. Andy started off as an explorer. Then he went down line of the paranormal. But then Andy actually found his own calling to do with his own beliefs, going into the elemental side of the... I mean, to be honest, I don't think you could... I class it as the same, because to me, the paranormal's on a rainbow spectrum. So you've got all different pockets of unexplainable things. So, but yeah, so, and then I think Andy's now, I think they're still doing elemental side, but I think he's also going back and doing some exploring, which I'm hoping next week he can pop on. And they made me believe I didn't at first. Yeah, like Andy says, they made him believe because he didn't believe at first. But yeah, so Andy, I hope you can come on and join us. Evening, Carol. Thanks for sharing.
Yo-Yo said the favourite bit was John Brown dipping his balls.
Dipping my balls? Where did I dip my balls?
Oh, hey, Scott. Welcome back.
Dipping?
When were what did he dip his balls in?
Dropping, not dipping.
Dropping, not dipping.
Oh, well.
Don't get me in trouble.
Dipping.
Lindsay, give me a red look then.
I'll dust off the mankini for next Tuesday. Oh, yeah, Andy, make sure you've dusted off your mankini. You can't come on without your mankini on. But the elemental side it's to me, I find it so fascinating because it does make you think outside the box. Do you know, like when, because I've been watching a lot of stuff on telly to do with everything. Shut up, and whatever you're doing, I'll move you. I'll tell you, I'll slap you. I've been watching a lot of stuff to do with elemental side of it.
I'm rubbing me high.
See, you think John's getting ganged up on? It's me that gets ganged up on.
I'm doing nothing. I'm just sat here.
Yeah. And I'm more intrigued by elemental side of stuff. I really am, because reading some of the characteristics of the elementals does explain quite a bit for actually the spirit side of it, if you know what I mean. So I'm like drawn between two at the minute. I'm pulled to both sides. I believe I've got beliefs in both, but I've just got to find my footing on which one I think I want to try and connect with more, I think, if that makes sense. I'm still like feeling my way around. You know, if you put your fingers up behind my head once more.
I was actually smiling because I was thinking about it.
Move your hand.
I didn't actually drop my balls. It when I think Yolanda's about when I kicked the ball. When I kicked that ball and it nearly went into toilets.
It did, yes. Evening, Dawn.
So no dipping or dropping her own.
I'm depressed. Playing up, my lovely.
I do,
if you need to talk, Dawn, message.
Lindsay's a man beater.
Now, children, you will have to go on the note. I'm going to put him on naughty step if you don't believe, if you don't stop. John needs support now. He's outnumbered, poor bloke.
One underneath.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. I mean, it's up to you, Chelsea. If you want if Andy's willing to come on tonight, I can send Andy a link. And
absolutely.
If you, are you sure?
I think it'd be very interesting. Absolutely.
Andy, I'm going to send you a link.
Come on, Andy.
Come on now.
Well, he don't click link then, does he?
Evening, Bev.
Evening, Renee. Eric.
I've turned my phone off.
Get mine then.
I'll back on.
Yeah, Andy, I'm going to send you.
No drama.
I think
we don't do drama.
No drama we do is when I'm smacking John for taking piss behind my head.
I taking piss. I was laughing about dipping my bowl.
Oh dear. Hope you're well, Bev. Hope everybody's well this evening.
I'm moving cable because you were pulling it tight. I'm going to sit in chair with dog in a minute.
You're not.
I am.
I did actually. I don't know how long I can actually sit here for, because I did. I think you can tell my eyes look a bit googly, like sheep's fannies, because I hurt my back when I fell on. When scooter nearly tipped up on me last night. I don't even know how it did it. But it did. The scooter tipped
because you went down to get some. Did you drop your torch or something?
No, when that smoke
comes to get some.
I didn't. I leaned. You know when the smoke come past and we were trying to debunk it with other smoke coming. I leant forward on camera to try and point which way direction it were, but the scooter sort of like tilted, and then. But you and your mum went to catch scooter, which would have, if that had gone fully, you two had been underneath that scooter because it's a right way, and then you've got me on top of it.
I do, David.
So I'd have flattened you both. Bev, yeah, that's what eyes look like when they're tired. Don't you think? If you, I mean, actually, you can't look up sheep's fannies, but that's what my eyes look like.
Don't Google sheep's fannies.
No, trust me, don't.
Your own separate camera.
If
Andy wants to join us, John sent him link anyway if he wants to come on. But yeah, we're gonna we're just doing a bit more on witchcraft. He's here, Andy. We're just doing a bit more on witchcraft booklet, but the next one to follow is elemental book.
Hi, Andy.
Evening, Andy.
Hello.
How are you?
Not too bad. Cheers.
Good. So, go on, Chels. You've not talked to Andy. You can ask Andy some questions.
That's it. Put her on spot.
About elemental side.
She gives me some very good warning, doesn't she? About 3 seconds. So, Andy, for me, I don't know an awful lot about elemental side of spirits and stuff like that. So, could you tell us a little bit about the sort of the basic principles of elemental spirits, please?
Yeah, right. So basically, it's a bit strange this, because I've come to a forking road with what folklore says they are, right? So basically what you can like research and read is that they are like nature's spirits, if you will. So like you'll get certain types that will work on like earths, trees, flowers, plants, all sorts of stuff. Water, you've got your your 4 types are like elementals that are your earth, your water, your fire, and your air. And then you've got your fairy folk, which live amongst them, if you know what I mean. It's like there's a bit of a separation between them. Only gnomes, apparently, are the ones that have got a foot in each realm. They are separate. But as my sort of journey's gone deep with these beings, I am in the understanding now that it's the essence, it's the life force of the earth that when you come into contact with it through your programmable perception, creates a form for it.
Andy, can you speak up a little bit? Because some of us can't hear you.
They can't. All right. Well, all my stuff's turned up full.
Right. Joe, try and turn your volume up full.
It's because Lindsay's got a big gobshite when I turn the volume down.
Yeah.
Turn the volume down beforehand, don't we?
Everybody has to mute. We can hear it from Sheffield.
So basically, right, so if they can take a form of what they and you basically it's like a partnership thing. They have got no form until you help form them. Right.
Okay.
But
so it's kind of like your perception then, Andy, is that what you're meaning?
Yeah, they live
somewhere. It's what you perceive them to be.
But you can't make it happen. They've also got a preference of what they enjoy being. Now, back in ancient times, in ancient pagan times, there were these things for a long time and they remember that. So it's of my understanding that if I go to an house and I talk to the energy of the house, I'll get an house brownie. But such as a demon hunter can go and talk to the exact same energy and get a demon.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's
it's about your intentions then, really, as well, isn't it? Who you intend to communicate with.
Yeah, that's got a part to play in it, but obviously they prefer to be things as well. Depending on you, it's all about our programming as a biomechanical machine,
Yeah.
So that's my understanding of it so far.
It's like, do you know, so like somebody gets in touch with us and says that they've got poltergeist activity.
Yeah.
If Andy went to that, if they got in touch with Andy would go in. But is it house brownies, Andy?
It could be a brownie or doing things because he's not happy.
Because
essentially, an house brownie to me is the house is made from natural. You've got wood in your house, you've got brick, which comes from stone and mortar. Plaster all comes from natural sources. It's just resonating a frequency and can pull it into a form via you. And that would be your house brownie or whatever. But don't forget how many people might have lived in that house over years. There's nothing to say it can't form up as a person as well that you used to live there. It's
that's where it
knows. It knows. It's interesting. It's deep research. It takes a lot to think about. It's it's not a straight line.
For a year and a half. Happy Christmas, everybody. But it's for me. I mean, last night, Andy, when we went to place we did, so clear. I mean, you heard it a couple of times.
Come out clear.
And when it come out, and we heard it clear. Do you know? And but then we were also getting like names of the spirit energies that would have lived as well. But am I right in thinking that the elemental side, were they living beings, or were they always earth beings, if that makes earth and air and beings, if that makes sense?
You see, again, this is the splitting the folklore to people that's actually dealing with them. A lot of people in folklore believe that they are physical, they're on a different frequency, but they're physical like me and you now, the living, breathing. But I'm not so sure. I think in the moment Because you always hear about this, like being the moment with them. It's in that moment that they are living through your perception. For
me, it'd be as well. I think at one time, I wouldn't have said they might not have been physical beings, or they might have been, but it would depend, because if you look back to pagan times before, people worshipped and believed in these things.
Yeah.
And I think that gives them that energy, so makes them more physical or stronger or whatever. And because nowadays it's all changed and people don't, I think it's not as common.
Yeah. That's fascinating. So has anybody else got a question?
Like when we take screenshots, then is there anything? Have you ever screenshotted, Andy, and thought that you may have seen an elemental spirit?
Oh yeah, I've got libraries of photographs. Of really like solid-looking things.
Yeah. Says, could it be aliens though as well? That's if you believe. For me, if you believe that there's aliens that are walking as people,
don't get Andy knows there's aliens.
Then isn't it?
I mean, some people think it's one and the same thing that's happening. I was watching a documentary. I can't remember the guy's name. He's quite famous. He got a lot of video captures of like alien grays popping up at his bedroom window. You might have seen them on YouTube. They're quite famous. But he ended up where they framed him, and he's doing time now. Government framed him. They put stuff out on his life and stuff. I think documentaries on Netflix, but there's a capture he got with this little white orb flying around his apple tree in his garden. And he was like, "Oh, they're sending scouts to watch my house and that." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's an apple tree. It's a little white flying thing. That in our thing would be a fairy,
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't." There's a guy on a ranch out in America. It's not Skinwalker Ranch. It's a different one. Where all sorts goes on. And he says we shouldn't.
Hey, Adam.
We shouldn't consider any of these beings as disconnected, even ourselves. We're all basically on a scale. Yeah. Us as selves are classed as a paranormal being, maybe to them.
Yeah.
Like how did they get here? Well, that's mad. They might not understand how we come into being.
No worries, and take care, my lovely.
But he says we shouldn't separate them up. They're all connected somehow. And that's quite.
To me, from what you're saying, Andy, to me, it's a little bit like having a religion, because it's something that you believe in and you might want to explore. And everybody might have a different religion, but really it's all connected to one thing. Yeah. So, for example, although myself, Lindsay and John are interested in the paranormal in the sense of speaking to loved ones or spirits or energies, whatever you wish to call them. Yeah. We may also want to explore the elemental side of it, which, it may or may not be connected, but it all seems to lead to the same sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And like I say, I mean, I've over years, I've been no like hidden on this what I'm about to say, and Lindsay and John know, but the fairy folk, once we started, because I hid it, when I got put onto it, I wouldn't put it out in my videos when it were coming up at spirit boxes, like, oh, I'm a gnome, I'm an elf. I was like, no. I was cutting it out. I was like, there ain't no way I'm gonna walk that, you know what I mean? No way. But as things were getting a bit more prevalent, I had no choice. But along the line, they told us, and I've got evidence of this stored away, because one day I'm going to release all my private boxes with them all and stuff.
Wow.
The human spirit is non-existent. It's there, but it's not after all thinking that there's a ghost of my auntie that passed away that I can she can come and visit. They told me that cannot happen because reincarnation is real, but we don't reincarnate like me coming out as a whole now and going into another body. It gets mingled up with other people's because it's energy.
Yeah.
It doesn't contain its full shape. It can't. It mingles
That's
with others.
Interesting.
And it comes back. And when people have these like little remembrances of these other lives, it's just that little portion, that tiny little portion of rest of it it's mingled with at that time that's remembering.
Do you know, that's quite interesting, that, when you think about it, especially when we're like going back to your past lives, we have lived that many different lives. That's if you believe in like past regression and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, you've got that thing. Oh, don't trust what the fairy folk say, because a lot of people tell you.
Yeah. But do you know, Andy, I've got so much respect for you and Becky because you stand strong above everything. Because I know and I've seen for myself firsthand some abuse and everything else that you can get just because you're exploring a different side. But a lot of people now are coming more round to it and actually starting to look into it deeper, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what you've got, and I'm not going to be shady on why people are like they are. They just automatically think of Disney. They think about it.
Yeah.
But what they're not doing, they're not researching old witchcraft traditions. They're not researching Druid. They're not researching even more modern day Wicca. And all of them will put them on to what the Fae actually are.
Yeah.
And now we're telling them.
Gillian's got a question. What about those little girls? I think they were from Yorkshire who took pictures of those fairies in the garden.
Fairies,
did that actually get proven? Did they actually admit to faking that, Andy, or did they still stand by what they said? Do we know?
They faked it, but then some people don't believe them. They said they were lying about faking it.
Right.
They admitted to faking it 4 out of the 5 photographs. Photograph number 5, they say, is completely 100% real.
Right. Joe Matt, you can find Andy on Facebook and YouTube, my lovely. So there you go, Gillian.
Yeah. We should be doing a documentary on Cottingley Fairies next year.
Oh, that'd be interesting. You have to keep us pinned on that. Happy winter solace to you, Adam, as well, and thanks very much. Solace. I always say solace.
Solace means on your own.
Yeah, but you know my wording. Stop.
It's a bit like me. What did I say earlier?
Archives.
Archives. Your pages in archives.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Leah. I'm going to send all my love and healing to your sister, my love life. Leah messaged me after this. Family tradition. Sorry. So I mean, the thing is, it's like the pagan belief goes way back. I didn't even realize there were different types. Because you've got is it Norse pagans?
Yeah, you've got a lot of different.
Yeah.
Are they all from the same? Do they all have same beliefs though?
Not really. It does differ some.
Yeah.
Do they all? But they've all got multiple gods though, haven't they?
Yeah. Which again, once you start getting close to fairy folk, they'll be like, drop the old god on goddess thing. It doesn't exist. That's what they tell you. Because that's the humans need to feel like there's an higher power.
Yeah. Oh no, Gillian, they definitely exist, my lovely. I know she's saying.
Yeah, and they promote. I'm saying they, as in the energy of nature.
Yeah.
Promotes equality rather than worship. That's a big key to it.
Yeah.
Not in this house. Equality in this house.
I'm a shaman. Is that shaman pagan? Our family are pagan and the other half is shaman. Wow, and Adam, I hope you're looking up all your history then.
Wow.
But yeah,
so
I mean,
the difference in sort of pagan belief, does that differ from area to area? As in like geographical area, or is it just
yeah, a little bit. I mean, like between us and Ireland, it's not too different, because we're quite close and stuff. But like such as your Norse stuff can be fairly different. Like the gods are all different, and then Greek are so different as well, because that's where Pan comes from. But we've got our own god at Forest, which is Canunnos, but very similar. Very similar.
Yeah.
So.
I don't bully John. Mick saying I bully poor John. But again, though, do you know, like in Ireland,
put air on your leg in a minute.
They take the. I don't know if I'm saying this right or wrong, Andy, but do they take the elemental side a lot more, or is it more superstition? I don't know. Like more to their belief more in Ireland.
Yeah. Well,
stronger belief.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very scared of them in
I was
Ireland.
they're terrified of them Irish, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did that happen? How did that come about? I mean, I know it's a daft question, and they're probably not. We might not ever know a real answer, but why did it come about that they had more stronger beliefs in it, or a fear of them, than what we do? Or is it just because we chose to just like, I don't know, like.
I suppose it's more society, isn't it? And now you're brought up and stuff. Really, if they've been told stories from years and years and years back about elementals, and it's stayed with them, and it's gone on for generations and generations. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just like it's more popular within their society and their culture. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, Sam's in chat. Sam, let me know what your thoughts are in chat, because I know you're in chat.
Do you know anybody that does seances?
No, I don't, my lovely. I don't, Jessica. But yes, I think, are you trying to look it up?
Yeah.
John's trying to look that up.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you'll get a solid answer on it, to be fair.
No, probably not.
Only thing I can see is like in Irish folklore, there were a fairy called Puka, is it? Puka?
Yeah.
And they feared her or him or that. So I don't know if it's more like a localized.
I've met one of them.
Have you really, Andy?
Yeah.
What are they like?
Well, ours were quite pleasant because we did everything all right in its presence. But Halloween night is when you tend to come across them. Samhain night.
Right.
And then November 1st is known as Puka's Day. And it's the only day of the year where it's considered to be civil.
Really?
Also, I've just read as well that it's Irish beliefs that the potato famine in Ireland that was caused by the fae.
Really?
So I suppose they're very superstitious about it, and if that's a belief they've got and it's been passed on.
Well, that's what Sam says. It's been passed. It goes back many, many, many years.
But they blame fairies for potato famine.
Really? But Sprite, when it says Sprite, that's fairy. That's a fairy, isn't it? Is that right, Andy?
Kind of.
We had Sprite come through last night, I think.
We haven't, Jessica,
a couple of times.
If you spell it F-A-E-R-Y, that's the collective.
Yeah.
That's like fairy, If you say fairy, That's just the flower fairy. It's weird. It's confusing, but it's the way you spell it. Yeah, the fae is the collective. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What's one of the most? I mean, I think the most friendliest is the gnomes in the gnome family. When you,
it depends, I think, because gnomes can be some of them, depending, they can be quite territorial, and there's some gnomes that don't like humans and some that do. Is it Celia and Unsealer?
That's they can all be grouped into them two categories.
Right.
But gnomes in general are quite all right. They're just really abrupt.
They did ask for penny though. They did ask. Did they ask for a penny or did they ask for a copper?
Penny.
Yeah.
Were it a penny they asked for? Yeah. It come through last night clear as anything when we got Teddy in them trees. And bless Dawn.
That would just have to come through the gnome.
Dawn had to go rummaging through her purse to find some pennies. But we did put the pennies down, and I think it were after we put the pennies down that the bear lit up, or were it just before?
I think it was. I think it was before, and then it did it afterwards, but not for as long, if I remember rightly. Or it might have been the balls that were going off before, and then the bear. Can't remember.
Oh, Jessica.
Yeah. We'll have to find out.
If you're able to put your page link up, please. If you could share it to page to ETA,
John,
and then people know how they can find
it. John will drop it in. Ecubis, I hope that's right. Hello, my lovely. I hope you're okay. They were abrupt, yeah. I think even when they were coming through on Spirit Box or whatever we were using, Portal at that time, or Spiritus, Quantum, don't even know what we were using at that time. But yeah, I mean, when they come out, they are quite. I don't think they mean to be abrupt. I just think it's just how they.
They
present themselves.
They just got no filter, you know. They don't see any need to like be sly or like I say. If you need to know out, if you need to know any secrets to anything, ask a gnome, befriend a gnome.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah.
But it were strange last night, because even when we moved down to them like 3 trees that you said, you know, when you're looking for the yellow.
Oh
yeah. Even when we got to that bit, John said he could feel when he walked between them. In one part, it felt a lot warmer than anywhere else. Do you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that was like, but it was telling him to get out. It didn't want him around that area, if I remember rightly. We're telling him to get out. And did it? I think at one time, didn't it? I don't think it said portal. It said something along lines though of a portal. I'm gonna have to listen back. Or doorway. It weren't doorway.
Gateway.
I don't know.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, which were really interesting because of what you'd said. But yeah, so how could we? Because one thing I don't want to do is when we're out is offend. That's one thing I don't want to do is offend. So how can?
Yeah, what about offending me?
How can we put things in place though, Andy, when we are out? I know with coppers we can take coppers, and I know we can take like seeds, plant seeds, and things to put around trees.
Chocolate.
Do
you like chocolate?
I know they like chocolate, but I think they prefer the seeds to chocolate because you're giving something back to
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth, aren't you, at that one? Or I might be wrong.
It completely depends with what you're dealing with.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I suppose it's like a person, isn't it? Some people, although you might not mean any harm towards somebody, you may offend somebody accidentally by the way that you speak or you approach them or whatever. It's not necessarily your intention to harm him or offend him in any way, but sometimes it does happen because there's a misunderstanding somewhere.
Yeah, but
you see, my rule of thumb has always been just litter, you know. Like I used to investigate with a lot of people that smoked, and there were buggers for dropping the cigarette butts in. You know, they're trying to talk something that's all to do with nature, and they're just chucking cigarette butts off the floor, and it's like, no,
it does, Richard.
You know, please don't do that. Just have some respect for area. And that's it. You know, if you've got a respect for area that you're in, they'll see that anyway.
Yeah. So, I don't think. I mean, we don't litter anyway, do we? When we go out, we always make sure we take everything back home with us. But I suppose it's like you said, though, Andy. It's like if you see some litter on the floor, as long as it's not what I saw last night, because I weren't touching that thing. But it's just picking it up into. But then again, everybody should be doing that when they see litter on the floor. Your bolter. Sorry, I'm shocking with pronouncing names. We're talking about just about paranormal and about the elemental side. If anybody's got any questions, please pop them into chat. We're all happy to answer. And if you're a non-believer, that's fine. Just be respectful as you're putting your questions in, and we'll be respectful back with his answers. Just thinking. I've got so many questions, and do you know when your mind just goes, it's because I've took my tablets, my mind just like, it's not holding me questions. How long have you been doing this then, Andy? Because I know, like I said, you have done exploring first.
I mean, I've been having experiences all my life. I lived in 13 different houses growing up, and got terrified after every single one of them with paranormal happenings. You know, my mum had just said, that's enough. We're moving, you know.
Yeah.
But it sort of started toning down as I hit my teens, you know, and went crazy. And, you know, you
like
start,
it does.
Yeah. And then me and Becky, like I said, we took up urban exploring. And, you know, when them little, like, vibes start coming when you're in an old dank building and you're like, what is that? There's something in here. You know, you just know something slams a door in front of you and there's no breeze, you know, and it's like, okay. So we started doing all that sort of stuff. And then obviously my cousin, who had Soul Reaper Paranormal, he was looking for somebody to film for him. So me and Becky were like, you know what? Let's go and film. So that's all we did. And things started happening, you know, a lot once we got in team, and I was starting to notice some patterns, and all photographs were showing weird little critters that weren't human, and you know, so it just developed from there, really.
Yeah. Andy, this one's for you. Sophie's asking, which is the best app? I don't think that, I mean, obviously Sophie's put ghost hunting, but I suppose to interact with Faye, what would be the best apps to use for that?
The problem is I don't use them. I have never ever used any.
No, I think you just use your portal, don't you, Andy?
I'm a traditional PSP 7 guy.
Yeah.
You know, sweeping radios.
Yeah. So that's your answer for that one, Sophie. For us, we use many different ones, but again, they're all experimental. If they give a response, then it's interesting. It still doesn't give us proof, but it just gives us that little bit more. In fact, it just creates more questions, because it's like, well, why is that just said that after we've just asked that question? But I believe that no matter what you're working with, whether you're working like Andy, where you work more with yourselves and a Rembear and SB7, or whether you find your own niche, I think, and I think a lot of people change as well over time. Because I think you've got to change over time, because you've got to adapt, haven't you? Andy, what's the worst thing you've ever seen? Adam's put wild ghost hunting, but obviously you know what he means.
Yeah. Worst. It's not.
Yes.
Right. All right. So worst thing I can't say it about scene because in our realm of things, once you sort of start dealing with them, what image that they show you, what they look like, are all quite grisly and monstrous anyway.
Yeah.
But more experience. I can tell you about my worst experience.
Yeah.
So it was prior to knowing about all these lot. We were in an old abandoned mill in Huddersfield. We were part of Soul Reaper. And we just had a K2 flip forward on its own, twist on floor, and then go back into position.
Wow.
Right? And we were all like, whoa, that were, and no lights went off while this were happening. It was like, they know how to bypass mechanics inside.
Yeah.
Whatever we're dealing with knows how to bypass. That's amazing, Anyway, a bit later on, in this mill, they've got massive, massive, thick steel roller doors, and they were rusted shut. And then there were like little gaps where you could just squeeze through. Anyway, we're all like sort of packing up as gear. And one of these doors started opening. And you could hear it rumbling through mill. And I was like, that's one of them roller doors. I said, the rusted shut, you can't. And like that look, like everybody's eyes were massive, like that terror.
Yeah.
Anyway, we set off running to way out. And girl that were in team at times, she kind of just like froze on spot in this doorway, like with this blank expression on her face, and trapped us all. And like we could hear this like this whooshing coming towards us, and I was like, get out of the way. And I grabbed her and just threw her, into the other side of like openness, and I was like, run. So we all like, and it was like. We had to queue to get out of this little window that had got shards of glass, and our last person, right? I let everybody get out first, and I got this bloody extendable torch on this little hole in this door that we had to get into the building, and it was just shaking, my hand and light everywhere, and it was terrifying. But someone managed to open this door.
Looking back at that, what encounter would you say that you'd cross then, Andy? Knowing what you know now.
Well, I went back to talk to it, didn't I? I went back to talk to it before the demoed building, right? Because I got whiff that they were going to demolish this building, so I said, I want to go back, try and find out what it is, and that were a gnome.
Really? What were you doing then? Just letting its presence be known to you?
Yeah, you were just being a bit mischievous, because that's what they are. They're like
just mischievous.
If you can laugh along at what is happening to you, it raises vibration and brings them closer.
Yeah.
But obviously, people got at terrified things straight away. You fight.
See, I mean, to be honest, I think I fight or flight. I think, to be honest, I think it would be laughter anyway. Just because I think if I'm scared, I think I'd just laugh. It's like, if I'm nervous or I'll tend to laugh more because I'm nervous in a situation. I think for me personally, I think it would be a laugh.
It's good you don't talk more when you're nervous, isn't it?
No, I do talk more when I'm nervous. God help you when I'm nervous. Jessica's put, what's the scariest? To be honest, Jessica, I don't think we've experienced anything that has been a negative, to be honest, or even I'm sorry, Dawn, I've put yours up, or even a bad experience. I think all the experiences that me, John, Chelsea, and Andy can speak for himself, but I think all the experiences we've had have been quite positive, haven't they? But I mean, even that light when it hit camera, that was still a positive. You just went, what was that? You didn't like go, what was that? Sorry if I've deafened anybody. But do you know what I mean? It's like you just like took it on Chit, like, where were that? What the F were that?
Yeah,
but yeah, but I mean, Jessica's put, she used to live across the road from City Cemetery and took a photo in the bedroom as I felt that there was something there, and I was right as I took a perfect photo of a black figure. That's interesting, Jessica, my lovely. If I get nervous, evening Amelia, if I get nervous, I ask more questions. And I've just finished wrapping. Oh, bless Amelia. I hope you've got them all done now.
I've had quite a fair few bum Trump moments, I'll tell you now.
Have they been? Yeah, but have they just made you jump though, Andy? Or but they
at Walton Hall, they had me running out of that doorway screaming, didn't they?
Well, yeah, but I mean that. If you,
I nearly took Becky's head off.
Was that when you first started?
No, that was like 3 years in.
Were it really?
But when you feel two little hands glide up your back and then it presses all fingers in, it's going to take you off.
Scared everybody. I do apologise if I've scared anybody.
It's a great job on the
day. Everybody's putting the jumped out the skin when I screamed.
Wakey, wakey.
But that is a jump scare. That's a ghost jump scare. Do you know that? Yeah. But so did you go back to that place then, Andy? That Walton
Hall.
Yeah,
I've been twice.
And what do you think is in there?
Well, tell me. Right. So basically, I can get a little. Again, this is thing when you're in my realm of things start connecting up. It's not a one-shot deal. You know, when you go to a place,
yeah,
you'll collate all sorts of information, and you can take it back and learn more, and you know, stories develop. But what it is behind it, there's an abandoned nunnery.
Yeah,
and we had to walk around that. You know, and I'm thinking, I've got to do a little video here. You know, this is cool. We get like 2 videos in one location. So we're talking to this thing on Spirit Box that specifically asked for Claudia, his old teammate. It said her by name. Now, Claudia, it's an odd name. It's not a usual name, you know. And it were isolated and it come out on its own. So she got talking to it and she's like, what are you? And it was like, I'm a gnome, you know. And she's like, I've never talked to a gnome before. They're excited about it. Anyway, we're talking away. And I'm looking at my clock and I'm like, right, we need to cut this short and we need to get round to main hall now because we're losing time. So I'm like signing to Claudia behind camera, like, cut it. You know, like, cut it short now. Like, say see us and offer some chocolate and we'll get on his way. And Box come over and it said, don't go. Right, and she looked at me because she heard it, and I went, we've got to go. Anyway, it said the boss fairy, right? So I was like, look, we've got to go. Anyway, so she did a, see you later, and we left. And later on that night, when we were at main hall, and I got the hands that went into my sides and it terrified me, we did a spirit box to find out what had done it, and it said the fairies tickled you.
Wow.
And then it went Tommy's permission.
No limit. Hey, Linda.
So the correlation of that, Tommy had given it permission to actually touch me because it needed to learn me a lesson. Don't cut it short when you're getting good communication.
Yeah.
When the connection had happened, do not cut
Interesting
it
that, Yeah.
Yeah. So I learned my lesson,
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting because, I mean, we've done places and it said that, like when we've said that we're going to be moving on, the response has come back and it said no or don't. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not, I'm not going to now.
I mean, we've always said, like, followers, haven't we?
Yeah, we've always said, well, you can follow us round if you want to.
But that might come into an answer what you asked me earlier. I don't want to offend them.
Yeah, and by saying that,
it
it
offended it.
So really then, if you've got a communication going, it's best to say goodbye to them and get them to say goodbye to you before the polite way would be before walking off. Yeah. Well, make sure in future we bloody do that then.
That one that never shuts up.
Cubis has put, curious what you think about old decrepit buildings that have spirit activity. You think the spirits they're stuck in the dark, or they're breaking a veil from other dimensions and popping in and out? Again, I think this one goes to
I think it's different.
There's different belief systems in this, I think.
I don't really think there's different. Well, there's different beliefs.
All right, not beliefs, different
also,
opinions, I think.
No, but there's also different opinions on it. But I'm saying there's not one answer for every energy, spirit that you encounter. There's just not one answer for it.
Yeah.
It could be a place. If it's an elemental, it could be a place where it's protecting, or it's there doing.
It's got a doorway there.
Whatever it's got to do, there could be lots of different reasons why it's there.
Yeah, I suppose it depends, doesn't it, why it's there in the first place?
It could be
whether it feels able to move on or not.
Yeah, and what did you say, Andy?
It could be the building itself. Like I was talking earlier, as house brownies.
Yeah.
It could be the energy of
the energy
of the building. Yeah.
Kabis has put, I remember the Tommy videos, some great stuff.
Oh, cheers. Thank you.
So that's a hint, Andy. Get your arse back on doing some Tommy work, if you can.
It's private work, though, that now.
Oh, has it gone private now? I mean, I don't know if you want to explain who Tommy is and what Tommy is to you.
How many hours you got?
In a quick rundown.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so Tommy basically is what is known to old witches as a group elemental, right? He is basically my dark counterpart. I'm saying dark because they come as shadows. Right, and you can manifest them through great releases of energy. It's very hard to do, but you need help from another fae that's been watching you, that considers you worthy of doing work for them. So they gift these things to you, and they will be based on an element that you resonate with most. Mine's an air. This is why Tommy's so good at communication. So, other people in his group, if we see fit, can get a water version, an earth version, a fire version, and Tommy self means twin. So it's the counterpart of yourself.
Yeah.
And you can do work with that, and you can combine them together to make one full elemental being as well. It's very interesting stuff.
It is. I mean, again, you can go watch Andy's journey with that, can't they, Andy?
Up to a point.
Up to a point, you can, yeah. If a place is knocked down and a new place built, is the energy still there? I believe so, yes. And I think that's where you get a build-up of energies coming in, and where it can start overlaying with energies. What's everybody else's feeling? This is for Chelsea. What is the best live you have done with Lindsay and John?
Oh, God, I don't know. There's been loads, haven't there? I don't know. Every live is different for some reason or other. It might be that you feel you've had more communication with spirit or energy. It might be because you've had more interaction with the equipment or whatever.
I managed to get a word in edgeways. That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Sophie, every night is just amazing. I think it's just, even if you don't get any interaction as such, or you don't get anything significant, it's it's just always interesting, and it's always fun. So, and obviously doing it with John and Linz is just a bonus for me.
Oh, it's bonus for us.
Yeah, prison
Urkabis has put, wow, I didn't know that part of it. Amazing. That's for Andy for what he's just been saying about Tommy. The ramming, shine a light.
Yeah, we're Gloucester Prison. Yeah,
very demonic. Well, we've not been to ramming, and obviously we don't work with what we call dark energies. We work with light energies. So that goes for elementals. I'll only work with light elementals. As if I get a choice. But I think some people have had experiences at ramming, but it'll be interesting to see what happens when we go. Gloucester Prison were an amazing
Gloucester
one.
Prison, obviously, it was on the old page. It's now not.
Yeah, he's transferring it over.
So Gloucester Prison, we're going back on Christmas Eve onto this page.
Ekabis has put, anything follow any of you home? For me and John personally, I would say no.
No,
nothing's followed us home. Chelsea?
Well, the only thing that's ever followed me home is anything that's left here with me.
Yeah. Andy?
I ain't lazy. It's not even
It's come back.
You talked about me. Andy, what about for you? Have you had...
Yeah, I have.
I was going to say, yeah.
We invite it, though. We invite them to come.
Yes. But I know there's certain part. I mean, I know me and John's been to yours and Becky's, and I know there is certain parts in your living room where different people have felt different different things round them, let's say.
Yeah. I haven't done a visit for a long time, though. It's been really quiet.
But I don't know whether this year's affected, because our energies, the hustle and bustle isn't there.
Yeah.
And for me this year, it's sort of like nature's resetting itself. So I don't know.
You'd expect it to be stronger if nature reset.
Well, I think it is stronger, but this is the thing. I think in certain places the energy is stronger, but I think in other places where there's been more damage that's been done, it could be that they're all like working on correcting that. Do you know? I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. Fairy garden in the backyard. Yes, Andy. But yeah, I mean, there's so many questions topics that you can talk to.
Thank you, Sophie.
So Chelsea, which out of everything then that we've done and worked with and everything else, what would be your interest to work either more with or something new? Like to look at working on different things. You know what I'm trying to. I'm tongue twisted at the minute.
Do you mean in terms of? So for me at the moment, obviously, I've been focusing quite a lot on pendulum work, which is new to me.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Or do you mean in terms of elemental spirit?
In terms of everything. So whether it's elemental, whether it's working with spirit energies, whether it's looking more into spirit energies, into aliens, into like Bigfoot, and what is it that you call them now? And they got a certain group that they're called. Is it mystical? No.
Like mystical creatures?
Oh.
Yeah, but that'd come under elementals, I think, wouldn't it?
Well, no, because you can't say Loch Ness is an elemental, can you?
Yeah.
Can you?
Oh, I've done spirit boxes on stuff like this, and they say.
Do they really, Andy?
Loch Ness is an elemental, then, Andy?
So what?
Loch Ness.
Thank you so much.
Loch Ness has.
Well, me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I'm only going on what they've said.
So what did they say then, Andy? Because I am interested, because I do believe that the Loch Ness isn't...
Well, on my specific... Because I used to do like theme topic spirit boxes a lot, you know, like
Yeah.
did them on aliens and Loch Ness and all sorts of stuff. And they said that majority of photos that are captured are seals, which actually tallies up to a theory.
Yeah. It does.
But the real thing that people have seen, they said it's a water elemental.
Yeah.
It
would make sense because for whatever it is, too many people have seen something for it to be nothing. And I know, like Andy says, that you've got the seals and probably other water lifestyles in there. But something has been seen, but it's also just disappeared.
Yeah.
To me, it's. I think I'm more on belief of what line Andy's saying for that I think it is a water spirit, because I mean, they've scoured. I mean, I know there's parts of Loch Ness that goes deeper, or it goes into rocks or wherever.
It funnels out into ocean, doesn't
it? Well, it does, but it's like how many people have been on there, you know, with them water detector things or divers and stuff like that?
Yeah, there's deep sonar scanned it, haven't there?
Yeah,
many times.
Do you know? And if there's something that big, surely it would have
been. If you see it, you're not going to miss it, are you?
Yeah.
You know, if it were a proper dinosaur, like a lot of people believe, then it's got to be an odd, what we call a time slip happening. You know, where now and again something weird happens, and this thin time slip happens, and it just appears and then disappears. You know, because at one point in time there will have been them kind of dinosaurs swimming about the ocean and coming into land like that.
Yeah, you know, definitely
millions of years ago.
Yeah,
but that's the closest paranormal explanation. You know, that if it were a real physical thing.
John P's put Loch Ness is a mysterious creature. Does it exist? I'm not too sure. See, that's what I mean, John. It's so many. There's so many. It's such a hard one. I think this one for me is, like I say, it's just an interesting.
Again, it's one of them things that it's people are still exploring it, aren't they? It's in a way it's like the afterlife, because you as much evidence as you can find, it's not necessarily gonna make it true, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know which one of our mods has put it, but they've put it could have even been, or it could be like a sturgeon fish, as they are local to Loch Ness, because sturgeons have that ridge back, don't they?
They do, yeah.
So they could be things. Sam's put there was a live video link set up. Maybe they're still doing it. Oh, that's interesting, Sam. Have you heard of that one, Andy?
No, I haven't. No.
I might have a look for that one afterwards and see if I can. Is that on YouTube, Sam? It'd have to be, wouldn't it, on YouTube? I love watching out like that, though. I'll get right into it. But yeah, I mean, there's all mystic. I mean, even like they say. I mean, Sam's put, what did he put? Big feet. But you've got you've got Bigfoot and what are them other thingies? Mothman and go on, Skinwalker Ranch. I mean, again with Skinwalker Ranch, they're saying that I mean, what I got from that Skinwalker Ranch was that there was something actually under the ground, but they can't dig because it's something to do with radiation levels, but nothing's been buried there. And again, that's open to Sasquatch. That's Bigfoot, isn't it? A Sasquatch.
Yeti.
Yeah. Big feet. I think he means me. What's your thoughts on them, Andy? Do you think again that these are like obviously, I mean, for Bigfoots and that, I mean, people have said they've seen all sorts, haven't they? Yeah. But they all seem to disappear back into their own dimensions. So how many dimensions could there be thousands of dimensions out there?
I can't remember if it was Sam. I was listening to somebody on about Bigfoot. I don't think it was Randy. Might have been. We're on about Bigfoot, and we're on about him being from a different dimension. What were it now?
I think we've got Andy and Sam in chat last time.
Oh, I can't remember.
You remember, Andy?
Oh, I've said all sorts of stuff about them. Pinpointing, I wouldn't know. But
did they get your attention, Andy?
Oh, I love it.
I
watch a guy. Yeah, I watch a rather big channel on YouTube. But he goes all over. He goes all over America. You know, Colorado Bigfoot, I think it's called. But
I think I've seen that one. I think I don't. There's another channel as well, and I can't think of the name of it. But I don't know whether that's YouTube that I've.
They used to make me laugh. What were they called? We used to watch on telly. They were about 5 old blokes and that.
Oh, did you ever see that? If anybody ever saw that, Denise.
They used to go hunting for everything.
But they used to set traps for them to catch him.
First season were right good. It was like not Mountain Men. What were it?
It were like Mountain Men.
It weren't Mountain Men. It weren't called. First season were all right, and then it went into this. They had this fallout with this other team or something, didn't they? And it went stupid.
But they were like trying to catch Bigfoot, and they were trying to catch this big wolf kind of creature, but it weren't a wolf. It were, do you know, Gillian's put while he's looking at that. Oh, I don't know, Sophie. I'd have to think about that one.
Mountain monsters.
Mountain monsters. Hang on, I've got a question and I've gone past it. Where's it gone? No, I've gone too far now. Who knows how many realms of existence? I refuse to believe that we are on the planet. Yes, very true. I believe in anything and everything, to be fair. I don't think we will ever know for sure. That's why I bought long distance night vision. You never know. There were a lot of spottings in Ireland. Really? A lot of spottings of what in Ireland?
Bigfoot, I think.
Is it Bigfoots? Have we ever had anything like that in UK?
Yes.
Obviously, yeah. What have we had, Andy? I know we've had the black cat, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, the cryptid thing in UK is quite big, you know.
See, now he says word. Cryptoid. You say it after I'm calling them all sorts.
But yeah, our major Bigfoot sightings are like Scotland and Wales. Yeah.
Are they real? Wow, yeah. I never even knew that.
There's a lot of cryptids, not particularly Bigfoot, but been seen at one where we run about.
Oh, at that woods.
Yeah, near Birmingham. That
Go on. What's the name? Wraith Chasers. That's it. Yeah,
Cannock Chase. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Cannock, Andy?
No, I ain't. No.
Would you go?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We've all got to go. We're not just going in little teams when we're going to Cannock Chase. I'm telling you now, I'm taking 100 people with me. I'm not getting lynched or left. But no, I'm really interested in going to Cannock Chase when we can.
A metal detector.
A metal detector.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not allowed, are you?
No.
Not allowed a metal detector. But yeah, it's so many things have been said to have been seen in there. Do you actually believe that they have, Andy, or do you have you heard about it though, Chelsea? Cannock Woods. No. I mean, it said that there's been black-eyed children. They said that there's been alien figures caught in there. All sorts of beasts.
Where is this then?
It's in Birmingham. We're all coming, says Ben.
We need to go.
Rachel's coming. Well, when we get out of lockdown and we can get to Birmingham, we can all go. What's your thoughts on what's in there, Andy?
I've got no idea. I like to go and look for myself.
So you're going to be open-minded then?
Yeah. Always.
You have to be though, don't you? Because there's so many people that
you can't go just saying, well I'm looking to.
No, because again, I'm not being funny, but some people some channels are entertainment, so they'll go and they'll just jump scare like I did when I screamed. I'm not going to scream again. But so I want to go camping. I said we go overnight camping in Cannock Chase.
And you want to go camping there?
Well, yeah, because I'll be protected by everybody.
Oh, so I'm just going to protect you, are they?
Well, you two go camping. I'm getting a B&B.
You know I'm murder, don't you? Take salt and pepper pot and sprinkle it on Monday. See what werewolf.
Yeah, because werewolves.
I'll use you as bait. I don't care.
Yeah, because there is myths of werewolf though in there and all sorts.
Check it under your jacket and there'll be lumps of bacon in it and stuff.
Oh, I'll ship me send me if we go there.
We have to go.
I'll just sit.
Oh wow! Sab's put the social distance world champion. Yeah, there was even a spotting near me close to Cumber House area. Wow, how long ago was that, Sam? I can't wait for him to answer because it's like a 3-second delay, isn't it?
About 30.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's on YouTube, isn't it?
Oh, is he on YouTube?
Sophie's asking if there was somewhere where we could all go. Where would that be?
Cannock Chase.
Well, it would be something like Cannock Chase or Sherwood Forest or
Sherwood Forest.
Yeah, but if it's an outdoor location and there's quite a few people wanting to go along, unless you're looking at paying to go somewhere. But for me, I think it'd be like Cannock Chase or Sherwood Forest where you can split off into different groups and do different work. So everybody's not on top of each other, because that's the problem when you go out in large groups. It's just the fact that if you're in a small location, the contamination over each other.
No, I think she was just asking in terms of sort of like me, you and John, where we would go to investigate. What would be our ideal location to go to?
Anywhere. I don't know. Is there one place where you'd like to go and investigate? Andy, you think about it as well. If there's somewhere,
there's loads of places I'd love to go.
Go on then.
Oh,
there is loads of places.
Or Woodchester Mansion. We can actually go and do that next year. That's not a problem for Woodchester Mansion.
I'd like to go.
There's so many in like Scotland and Wales, isn't there? Like big castles and that.
I forgot the name of that like castle place in Ireland that I wanted to do. Is it Let Castle? Let Castle.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that.
I want to do a fire station.
Where's that?
In Sheffield Town Centre, you've got a fire museum. I think it works out. I think they said it was about £300 to hire it. But I think that were on a weeknight but it's quite big. But I'd have to rest up before we went. We were supposed to be going with Andy and Becky, but we've got lockdown because we planned it, didn't we? For beginning, we planned it in last year, I think it were with Andy to go. But then obviously it got to end of year, and we didn't, thinking you could get into it this year. And obviously with lockdown, you've not been able to. But that's a place where I'd love to go. But again, to go there, I would only, and I know it sounds awful, but I would only want to go in a small team. So like say us five, and say Andy, Becky and whoever's coming along with Andy and Becky, because you're like separated from each other, so it's a big enough area to cover.
Yeah,
we are getting on top of each other, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's I think it's Lap Castle. Yeah. Where else would I like to go?
I don't know.
Oh, Titanic Hotel, but proper Titanic Hotel. Has anybody been there? It's in Liverpool. There's 2 hotels. Have you heard about them, Andy?
No, I don't know.
There's 2 hotels. There's one that's a fake one. Well, it's not fake, but it's not
fake hotel.
It's a fake hotel because it's not real Titanic. They've just done it up to look like Titanic.
Is it for entertainment purposes?
Yeah, it's for entertainment. But then it's a real hotel. Yeah, it was made in China. But then there's a real hotel, and it's actually something that was to do with the Titanic. And it's got all the history and everything inside it, but that's supposed to have got a lot of history to it.
Rachel's been to Titanic Hotel.
Yeah, have you been to the proper one though, Rach?
Delphi.
I don't mean to call it a fake hotel, but I know there's 2 of them. Well, it's a cheaper version.
When you said it's fake hotel, I expect like a cardboard cutout. You walk through front door. I've been done. She has me 60 quid for a room. It's only a cardboard cutout front.
Do you know? Take piss out on me. There was a spooky fireplace, but there's so much for me. I think I like history. I think any place that holds a lot of history for me.
Well, you've just upset them in that fake hotel. They might have loads of history there about something. You've upset them now.
Oh, don't anybody tell them. They might not let me have a room.
I'll get your phone number now. I bet you dare ring one of them up and say you real one or fake hotel.
I bet I dare. I bet I dare. The low fat hotel. Oh, my heart, HART, go on. Oh dear, that's just crazy. Oh goodness. Evening, Claire. So yeah, has anybody else got any questions that you'd like to ask? See if any of us can answer. And did you work with pendulums at all?
I do.
Or does Becky?
Yeah, both on us. Been doing it many years.
Good, because I'm just starting to work with pendulum. I've been doing it now for about a month properly, haven't I? Properly for about a month now, working with pendulum. Chelsea's just started. I had a fake pendulum before. No, I didn't.
Did you?
They were real.
But you can move it on a string.
Yeah. You what, Andy?
From China.
There ain't no fake ones.
There isn't.
What are you using at the minute?
Well, that's it. I mean, to be honest, I've used I've tried it with my ring.
Yeah.
With my ring on chain, it works. I've tried it with my little protection bottle of salt. And obviously, I've got my other pendulum that I wear, so I'm wearing them all the time. Chelsea's just started doing working with her pendulum. How do you find working with pendulum, Andy? And what kind of questions do you ask the pendulum? Evening, Laura.
I don't use it for generally asking questions anymore. I do it for finding. So more doubt what it was originally intended for. So like basically getting somebody to hide a pan coin in kitchen and then getting it to find it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the closer you go, the stronger the spin. So it can guide the area. I tend to use them for finding spots where it'd be good to connect.
Yeah. What do you use? Would you know, like though, if you were outside using it, what would you tend to use it for outside?
Like I've just said, for finding spots to connect with nature.
Oh, never thought of doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I might pitch that idea
where its vibration is higher, it should find it.
Yeah.
All sorts of things like
I'm going to pinch that off you, Andy, but I promise that I will give you a shout out when I use it.
But again, right, you've got to think of this, right? Because I've got a bone pendulum. I've got one made out of a piece of bone with a bird's skull beak, right?
Wow.
So I use that when I'm out bone finding to find bone because it's resonating with same, with same frequency.
Have you used that chupacabra throat we found yet?
No, it's still in a cardboard box tucked away for later use.
Bless. Sam's put, if there's Bigfoot running after me, the only pendulum I will be using is rock in a sock.
Oh, you've been to prison as well,
Sam. Sophie, best place to get your pendulum from, to be honest, is actually going into a shop and buying it so you can feel the energies. But obviously, because we can't get into shops, I think a lot of people are saying that you just have to go with the one you feel more drawn to. I think that's how you do it.
What are you guys using at minute then for your pendulums?
My pendulum at the minute is mine's got like chakras on, going down.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. Can you see on camera?
I've lost a stone.
Have I lost a stone?
Unbalanced chakra.
Well, I've lost a stone. I've got an unbalanced chakra. I don't know if you can see it. I've got that. It's that one.
She's lost a sacral chakra.
But I've lost my sacral chakra. Hey, do you know that's funny? Because Yolanda said she did me some healing, and she said that one were out of sync.
Sacral.
So it could have been she were meaning my pendulum. But yeah, I think all I've been using at the minute is I've been using a pendulum board.
Yeah.
I don't use Ouija boards, but I don't mind using a pendulum board because to me,
would you use a fake Ouija board?
You what, Andy?
Why won't you use a Ouija board?
Well, it's not that I won't, because technically, I think using what I'm doing but I think because I'm calling it a pendulum board, it sounds nicer in my head. Only because when we were younger, we did mess about with Ouija board and we didn't know what we were doing, and we did have some negative things come off.
What if we make one and call it a planchette board? Would that be better?
No. But I don't know now. When you look back and you think, was it a negative or would that have happened anyway?
Or your perceivance that it were negative, but it weren't really. Yeah.
Do you know? So I think for me, it's that puts me off it. But with pendulum board, I think because I cleanse it before I use it, and I cleanse after when I've finished and I close it down properly. I think it just feels okay, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, we've tried connecting, and we've connected. I'd say I did 4 people. I did
see somebody. I think it was Viscous. He put in about dowsing rods earlier. What's thoughts on dowsing rods? That's one thing. Yeah, we've got some, and we are going to start taking them out again, aren't we now?
Yeah, but I want stands to put in them.
Well, that'll be after Christmas, so
because I don't.
They're not going to come now, are they? Not going to get out from China before Christmas.
Oh dear. But yeah, for us, I think at the minute we've been just trying to connect with. We've been asking questions or asking people, members to just pop a question in to what they want an answer for, and we've done it that way. And then other day I used it and I let it choose the tarot cards. Oh, yeah. To pick tarot cards out for to swing to swinging a yes if it were right one or a circle, whichever one it wanted to do. And it did that. And we actually got some good responses, and cards were come out correct. And the people that we did give like mini readings, if you can call them that, they could make sense of what letters of alphabet the pendulum had spelled out, if that makes sense, Andy.
Cool. Well, you know what they originally were used for, don't you?
No.
You don't?
No.
Predicting sex of a baby.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, that was
they used to do it with the ring, didn't they?
Yeah,
I know they used to do
Yeah.
But, I know we did. Oh, yeah, but I thought you meant spirit boards then.
No, pendulums.
Yeah, to tell sex that. Yeah, remember with sex at baby, because it doesn't turn one way for girl.
Yeah.
And another way for boy.
Yeah.
Andrew, Laura's asking, what is a good book to read about the Fae? What would you recommend?
None.
No.
Absolutely none.
So what would you do?
What you're going to get, right, is you're going to get slices of truth between great big wedges of lies.
Yeah.
The only way to get to know them is to get out there in nature and bridge a connection. Because they'll come to you.
Yeah. I mean, the book I've got, Andy, it's not a book though, is it? It just tells you what the Fae are.
Again,
what different types.
You know, it will say, yeah. I mean, I've got that book as well, but it will say some things about one thing. Like there's a perfect example. There's a troll called a trow, right?
Yeah.
And it tells you it dances on the side, which is absolutely true. But it tells you that they don't like daylight, and you can only see them at night. But I saw mine in broad daylight.
Wow.
Yeah? So that's what I'm on about. You'll get truths and lies or misconceptions, and it's no good. Get out there and meet the things for what they are. That's the only way to do it.
So how would Laura go out and build a connection then? Would she just go out and...
There's no rule to it. You've got to find your own way with this. So
it's like your own niche.
Yeah, it's like for me and Becky, we're learning about alt trees. You know, as you know, Lindsay, we were avid tree learners. We were going up to them, taking like little leaves that had dropped off floor. We were putting scrapbooks. So we're learning about them avidly. I mean, we know a lot of trees just by looking at bark.
Just by looking, yeah.
And that bridged us closer. Our activity at that time amped up, you know, so much.
Yeah.
And it was just a simple little thing. I didn't think it were ever going to do anything for us, but it did. You know, so just talk to nature. I mean, you know, people talk to the plants, so they're not when they're growing them.
Well, they do, don't they?
It's scientifically proven to help. Yeah.
Yeah.
To talk nice to your plants. So you're talking to that energy around it. That energy can come out and portray itself as a fairy. That's what it does.
Wow. I'm going to try doing some,
treat them as equals. Appreciate what they do for us, you know, on a conscious level.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised. You might start seeing sightings.
Definitely with trees, because I mean, obviously trees breathe life into because it's the oxygen that the trees are giving out, so that's helping us. Exactly,
yeah. It's a personal journey. There's no rule to it. You've just got to find your own little way, you know.
Yeah. Diana's put, what kind of fae love oak trees?
Well, that is one of the 3 that I was telling you about last night. It's part of Fairy Triad.
Right.
Them trees were oak, ash, and hawthorn. But in folklore, there is what is called oak men that live around oak trees. Apparently, they can be quite severe. If an oak has been damaged, they don't care who has done the damage. The next crossing human will get damage back. That's how they see it. I've got no proof of that. That's just folklore, you know. I've never come across anything like that.
So do you know? Go on.
What you will find is that the green man is usually either an oak tree or a holly tree, because the green man is like one of the it's the oak is the last tree to lose its leaves as it's going into winter.
Right. So do you know, say somebody were getting activity in the home or around the home?
Yeah.
And say somebody's disrespected the land before this person's lived there.
Yeah.
What offerings could you give to the trees then to appease what said people had done to land prior?
What, to trees specifically?
Yeah.
Birdseed. Best for tree offerings.
It's just putting birdseed either in trees
Or
like
base of it.
It's bringing base.
It's bringing nature to the tree,
Yeah.
Yeah. So birdseed is always good for tree offerings, yeah.
So, like, if anybody were like wanting, if they got them in the garden, they wanted to, like, I don't know, put like a bit of protection or bring a bit of goodness back, then making offerings to tree life would be a good way to start. Obviously, keeping your gardens tidy and flowered and stuff.
You have to keep it tidy. They like it wild.
Do they like it wild? They'll like our garden then. Hey, Bunnies, hope you're well, my lovely, all the way from Kuwait. Welcome to our ETA family, my lovely. But yeah, I'm going to say some. Deanna's put all my oaks off. Fine. I don't know what I'm doing here. Can you sort this chat out for me? Where have you put them sticks? John's just got me dowsing sticks.
Oh.
But I don't know. We went to see this lady and she was like learning us with dowsing. But as you can see, they move freely anyway. They are copper. Yeah. But it's like trying to hold them. I'm trying to balance them straight on camera. So what question would I ask it? Show me yes.
Well, it depends, because Andy again would use it to find things. So he'd be moving.
I'd use it barefoot on Earth, because then it's pulling energy up from Earth into the rod to find something I need to find.
Right. So, but if I'm sat here now and I need to ask a question, what would be a good question to ask?
Am I a ter were a ter?
Am I a twat? Move it to the middle if I'm a twat. Look at that.
That was a super strong answer. That
was a very strong answer. Rachel, you've never seen them used before. I'll next time we do pendulum, I'll try and work with him. I mean, again, you have got to have really steady hands, I think, for working with them. So I'd have to see on how bad my shakes were that day, but I will try.
I'll put them in bag next time we go out as well.
Yeah, you can take them out with us next time. We'll get John and Chelsea walking round with him. Obviously, I can't do it on Big Red because I can't drive Big Red with them. Even though I did try at times.
You can't drive Big Red with two hands.
I can't. And they'll look at myself. Hope you don't mind. Hope trees don't mind kids play on them. I don't, as long as they're not damaging trees. I think the trees would.
It's.
I think
as
long as
they respect snapping branches.
Yeah,
I can see it being an issue. But if they're just climbing them, playing in them, sitting in them, there's no issues with that at all.
No, not at all. When are we out again? Patricia, I'm hoping that we're going to be out again tomorrow. Depending on the weather. So if not, we will have to have a second plan again. But we will be live tomorrow on members area.
From 7 o'clock in the morning all the way through. But
well, apparently it's heavy rain, but it only goes down to 1 dot at 8 o'clock.
It goes down to 1 dot at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, so it might, if it's just showering, I think we'll be out as normal. If it's sort of like it were other night, I think we'll be out as normal.
It stops raining at 1 o'clock in the morning.
What, to go out at 1 o'clock in the morning? Do you know, I've said that though. I wouldn't mind going out and doing an investigation, but it'd have to be either on a Saturday night, I think, and going out at like about just to see whether energies are different early hours. I mean, they shouldn't be, but you know, like going out early hours one morning. Don't you shake your head at me? But like going out early hours. Have you ever done that, Andy, and noticed the difference?
Oh, aye, there's a big difference.
Is there a big difference?
Yeah,
In what sense do you find it a big difference and best times to go out at night to going out in days? Is there like certain times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're what I call tween times, like the in between.
Right.
So for the rule of thumb, best time you can get it all, any time if things are willing to talk, but like we've noticed, like obviously 12 a.m., 12 p.m. is the best time, and it's like an hour and a half that you get, from 12.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, it looks like everybody that on a weekend we're going out at midnight. And we're going to go somewhere where I think there's a lot of, I want to go to like a proper, like where we found a lot of spiritual energy coming in. Or where it's a peaceful surrounding. It is. Yolanda's put, if rods are used for finding water and pendulum is the same principle, maybe I will use my pendulum to seek our basin of water. Seek out a basin of water. Fucking typing on this Diddy keyboard. But yeah, we'll have to do that one night. I think we'll have to go out at midnight and do a couple of hours.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve, everybody will be paid and they'll not be wanting to watch.
Yeah. Be a bit loud at midnight New Year's Eve.
It would be too loud on New Year's Eve.
Just set Lindsay up on Big Red, John. Send her out at midnight.
No, not on my own.
Well, I'm going to be about 11 o'clock. I'll leap scooting at door for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
We can't wait till summertime because we have got a really good location that'd be good for Andy as well. And it's said to have, when you're reading history of it, it's got a lot of elemental energies present to that area. Can you know which one I'm on about, don't you? One where we had to use.
We've got about 93.
Yeah, the one where we have to use key.
I know which one I mean now. About 90 odd locations we've got. You know which one I mean. But
the history to that and what other people have experienced on the elemental side of it is it's really good. It's really good. So we'll have to do that. We'll have to when it gets to a bit nicer weather. We'll have to do it because it is quite muddy.
Sam can't investigate where there's people. I think SAS have turned up with Sam. We do it. No cameras.
Have you seen his new cameras?
Andy?
Yeah.
Have you seen Sam's new cameras?
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, might scare people. Oh dear. Right, my lovelies, I think we're going to call it because we've been on an hour and 43 minutes and my eyes are getting more heavier and I need more medication. I need to be floating a bit more because that's what I feel like I'm doing.
Meditation when you go floating.
I feel so spaced out. So I want to say thank you to Andy for joining us. And
yes, thank you, Andy.
When are you going to be putting more videos up, Andy?
Never.
Aren't you putting any more up?
No.
Why? What are you doing with them?
I'm not. I'm laughing at Andy because he's just.
Why are you saying never?
Never. It's like that. Well, that's killed conversation, hasn't it?
Are you being serious on never?
Yeah.
Why?
because he's got loads. He's told us he's got loads of different projects.
I know he's got loads of different projects, but people still want him to go live.
Because I shut channel down a couple of months ago, as you know.
I know you did.
I found a video I'd never put out, so I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just open it back up to put that out, and then that's it. That's it. We're done.
I'm having words with you.
I'm not saying I wouldn't go and do something privately for myself.
Yeah, but as far as yeah. And is that a definite then, Andy? There's no like, well, you're just going to take a break for a while and see how you go.
What it is, Lindsay, I'm going to be completely honest with you now, right? I'm absolutely fed up to Batty for doing it all myself. Right? Yeah. I've had people coming to help, to be up on camera with me. I've lost that many team members because, booze or, lifestyle gets in there. Are coming out twice, once every 2 weeks and doing a video. It shouldn't do, really, should it? That's nothing.
No.
And I'm sick of it. Because I like having somebody to bounce off on camera. I'm quite a jokey person, as you know. Like when we've all been out together, I'll try and wind you all up, and and I'm just feeling like it's a bit of a drag set there, doing it all myself. Becky's behind camera, and I've just had enough on it, and that's it.
Well, look, if ever you and Bex ever do want to come out, you're always welcome to come out with us. I know we might work differently, Andy, but we also do have that interest in that side, in elemental side too. So anytime you and Becca want to come out, you are more than welcome.
I still do a lot of my stuff because the YouTube channel is not the be all and end all on it. This is a lifestyle thing for us.
It is a lifestyle, that's it, Andy.
And when that starts being a drag, I don't want that to affect my connection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've got to do that.
Totally understand. And like I said, so much respect for you and Bex anyway. So I love you both. Cool. So Andy's channel is staying up. So those of you that do want to go across and watch Andy's journey from beginning up till the finish, please go back and watch, because there is some amazing stuff on Andy's channel to watch.
Plus, we're on it.
Yeah, we're on it.
You are on
it. Oh dear. So it's good night from us, Chels.
Good night from me.
It's good night from her.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Take care. Love you, love.
Bye. See ya.